In the early hours of a crisp, dew-kissed morning, the forest awakens in a symphony of delicate whispers and vibrant hues. Sunlight filters through towering ancient trees, casting intricate patterns of gold and shadow upon the forest floor. Pronta, air is fresh, filled with the subtle fragrance of pine needles and the earthy aroma of damp soil. Each ray of sunlight seems to dance on the leaves, setting them aglow with a gentle luminescence that speaks of hope and renewal. The sound of a nearby brook, soft yet insistent, punctuates the quiet with its soothing murmur, as if nature itself is breathing life into every corner of this verdant sanctuary. Yet, amidst the serene beauty of nature, there lingers an unspoken melancholy, a parallel to the inner landscape of our protagonist. Just as the forest oscillates between light and shadow, so too does the heart of the one who wanders these woods. The luminous morning light, which might ordinarily be a symbol of new beginnings and warmth, becomes a mirror to a soul that feels both illuminated by distant memories and obscured by an overwhelming sense of emptiness. The vibrant energy of the forest, though majestic and eternal, seems to contrast sharply with the fragile, conflicted emotions that reside within. Here, in the delicate interplay of light and darkness, nature and spirit converge, setting the stage for a journey of profound introspection and transformation. Amidst this breathtaking wilderness roams a solitary figure, whose every step carries the weight of past sorrows and present uncertainties. Our protagonist, Sage, moves through the forest with a measured grace, yet her eyes betray an inner turbulence. There is a haunting duality in her demeanor, a constant oscillation between the searing pain of loss and the numb emptiness that has become all too familiar. At times, the forest seems to echo her internal discord. The gentle rustle of leaves contrasts with the turbulent storm raging within her soul. Sage's troubled heart is a canvas painted with scars of a past, marred by profound tragedy. Once, her life had been filled with the warmth of familial love, moments of laughter, and dreams of a future that shimmered with promise. But fate, in its merciless indifference, tore those dreams apart. The sudden loss of her parents, loved ones whose gentle guidance had been the bedrock of her existence, left her orphaned and adrift in a world that no longer seemed to care. The comforting embrace of a family was replaced by the cold reality of isolation, where even the care of her extended relatives felt more like a duty than genuine love. Every tender memory of her mother's warm laughter or her father's reassuring strength now haunts her like a bittersweet melody, echoing through the corridors of her mind and reminding her of what once was and what might never be again. In the aftermath of these heart-wrenching losses, a fleeting semblance of hope appeared in the form of Ben, a man whose presence once ignited a wild, fiery passion within her. For a time, Ben's charm and intensity gave her a taste of love's promise, a brief reprieve from the pervasive loneliness that had long defined her existence. Yet, as quickly as the flame had been kindled, it was extinguished. Ben's rejection, delivered with a chilling indifference, shattered her fragile hope. His departure was not marked by sorrow or regret, but by a cold finality, a dismissal that left her questioning the very essence of her worth. The man who had once made her feel seen and cherished had turned away, leaving behind only the ashes of what could have been, and a cavernous void in her heart that seemed impossible to fill. Each step Sage takes is heavy with the burden of these memories. The forest, with its timeless beauty, offers no solace to the anguish that has become her constant companion. Instead, it serves as a poignant reminder of the love she lost and the trust she once placed in the hands of fate. The juxtaposition is striking. As nature thrives in perpetual cycles of rebirth, Sage remains trapped in a ceaseless loop of longing and despair. Her eyes, once bright with the possibility of joy, now reflect a storm of conflicting emotions. Bittersweet memories mingled with the raw, unyielding pain of abandonment. And so, as she walks among the whispering pines and shimmering sunbeams, Sage grapples with a question that haunts her every moment. Will I ever find that sense of belonging again? This query, soft yet persistent, reverberates in the silence of her heart. It is the question that fuels her restless spirit and drives her forward, even as she struggles to mend the pieces of her shattered soul. In the quiet solitude of the forest, beneath the expansive canopy of ancient trees, Sage's heart is heavy, with memories of rejection. The painful absence of Ben's love lingers like an unyielding echo, a bitter reminder of the day she was cast aside without so much as a whisper of regret. The once comforting idea of being cherished now feels like a distant, unattainable dream. With every step she takes, the burning question resurfaces. Will I ever find that sense of belonging? This thought gnaws at her, a silent predator stalking the edges of her consciousness, challenging her to either succumb to the despair of being unworthy or to rise above the ruins of her past. It is a question that cuts deep, resonating with anyone who has ever been left longing for the warmth of a true connection, and it sets the stage for a transformative journey, a quest not just for love, but for self-discovery and healing. Yet even in the depths of her anguish, a spark of defiance flickers within Sage, a quiet promise that she will not allow the ghosts of her past to dictate her future. As the forest breathes life into every dewdrop and every sunlit leaf, so too does it kindle a renewed determination in her soul. This is the moment when the winds of change begin to stir, whispering promises of a journey that transcends pain and reclaims hope. Sage resolves to embark on an odyssey of self-discovery, determined to gather the scattered fragments of her identity and forge them into a beacon of light that can guide her to a love that is both true and transformative. It is a journey that calls upon every ounce of courage within her, a quest to prove that even the deepest wounds can heal, that a broken heart can learn to beat with the rhythm of renewed passion and unyielding strength. With each step along this winding path, Sage embraces the uncertainty of what lies ahead, confident that every challenge will serve as a stepping stone toward a future where she is no longer defined by rejection or loss. Instead, she will emerge as a woman reborn, a resilient soul ready to open her heart once more, to trust in the promise of belonging, and to find solace in the arms of a love that understands her most profound truths. In this commitment to herself, Sage makes a silent vow to never stop fighting for the love and acceptance she so deeply deserves, no matter how turbulent the journey may be. Sage's memories are a bittersweet tapestry, woven with loss and lingering regrets. As she sits alone on a weathered stone in the heart of the forest, her mind drifts back to a time when the world felt warm and certain. She recalls the gentle cadence of her parents' laughter filling their modest home, a haven of love and understanding. Her mother, with her tender, nurturing ways, had always been the light in the darkest hours, while her father's robust, reassuring presence had made every storm seem surmountable. Their voices, like a soft lullaby, once brought her comfort and made her believe in the promise of forever. But fate proved cruel. One fateful day, an unforeseen accident shattered the peaceful rhythm of their lives. In an instant, the life she once knew was ripped away, leaving behind an echoing void. The loss of her parents not only stole her physical guardians, but also the very essence of unconditional love and security. Their absence became a constant, haunting reminder that the warmth of family could vanish without warning, leaving behind a perpetual chill that seeped into her soul. Alongside the heartache of losing her parents came the sting of relationships that never quite reached fulfillment. In her tender youth, she learned that not all bonds were meant to last. The promises whispered in quiet moments turned to dust as those closest to her. Relatives who had taken her in proved incapable of offering the affection she craved. Instead of warm embraces and soothing words, she received distant looks and the cold expectation of duty. Every time she reached out for solace, she found only the echo of a love that was never truly given. In this desolate landscape of broken promises and unmet needs, Sage grew up feeling like a misplaced fragment, constantly wondering if she would ever experience the true security of being cared for. This patchwork of loss and incomplete love carved deep furrows into her heart. Each memory, though painful, also served as a reminder of the potential for healing, even as it left scars that refused to fade. It was a past that taught her the importance of resilience, even as it taught her that some wounds never fully heal. The ghostly whispers of those long-gone voices still resonate within her, urging her to remember the joy of a time when life seemed full of promise, and to question whether she would ever feel that way again. Then, amid the darkness of her solitude, a sudden spark ignited, a moment when everything seemed to change. Sage first met Ben on a day when the skies were overcast, yet something in his presence radiated an undeniable warmth. He was like a sudden burst of flame in her otherwise chilly existence, a blaze that lit up the corners of her heart, long thought to be dim. When their eyes met for the first time, there was an electrifying surge, a connection so immediate and intense that it left her breathless. Ben was charismatic in a way that defied explanation. His smile, confident and sincere, wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. In his gaze, she saw the promise of being seen, of finally being understood. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Sage experienced the gentle thrill of being desired. His words, tender yet strong, seemed to melt the layers of self-doubt that had accumulated over the years. With him, even the simplest conversation became a spark that set her heart racing, a reminder that she was capable of feeling love in its purest form, even if only for a fleeting moment. The days that followed were bathed in a light that felt almost otherworldly. Ben's presence turned the mundane into something extraordinary. A shared cup of coffee, a quiet walk through the park, or even the silence between them during a starlit night all took on a magical quality. In those moments, Sage felt as if she were enveloped in a cocoon of warmth and acceptance, a stark contrast to the cold indifference she had known for so long. For a brief, shining period, every smile, every whispered word, and every gentle touch reaffirmed her worth. Ben made her believe that perhaps she could be more than just a collection of scars and sorrow. He made her feel like the long-forgotten pieces of her heart could come together to form something beautiful. It was as if he had unlocked a door within her, one that had been sealed shut by the relentless pain of her past. In his embrace, she experienced the intoxicating sensation of love rekindled, a wildfire that burned fiercely enough to make her forget, even if momentarily, the lingering shadows of her history. However, as swiftly as Ben's light had shone, it began to wane. The tender moments that had once ignited a blazing flame in her heart soon turned cold and distant. What had started as a passionate interlude became a harrowing reminder of betrayal. Without warning, the warmth of his love transformed into an icy dismissal. Ben's rejection was not cloaked in empathy or remorse. It was abrupt and unfeeling, a stark announcement that she was merely a temporary solace on his journey, a pit stop in his relentless pursuit of something better. The shock of his departure shattered the fragile hope she had dared to kindle within herself. Every shared smile and whispered promise disintegrated into a painful memory, leaving behind deep wounds that cut more sharply than any physical injury could. The intense passion they had briefly shared was replaced by a lingering void, a sorrow that seeped into every corner of her being. In the wake of this collapse, Sage was left grappling with an overwhelming sense of abandonment. The trust she had so cautiously begun to rebuild was now in tatters, and the realization that she had been left behind, without even a semblance of regret, plunged her deeper into despair. Each day became a battle between the desperate desire to forget and the haunting reminder of what had been lost. The bitter taste of rejection was now her constant companion, a relentless echo of a love that had burned bright but then vanished, leaving only smoldering embers in its wake. In the aftermath of this heartbreak, Sage found herself adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The fervent hope that had once sparked at the touch of Ben's hand began to flicker uncertainly, replaced by a growing skepticism about the nature of love itself. Every attempt to trust and to open her heart was now met with the lingering question, could love ever truly be real? Or was it destined to be as fleeting and fragile as a dying flame? Her soul, still tender from the wounds of the past, struggled to reconcile the remnants of the passion she had experienced with the stark reality of betrayal. The more she dwelled on her loss, the more the concept of true belonging seemed like a distant fantasy. Each memory of Ben's warmth was now tempered by the cold sting of rejection, leaving her with a cautious, almost jaded outlook toward future relationships. The once bright promise of intimacy had faded into a murmur of doubt, a persistent whisper that perhaps she was not worthy of the deep, abiding love that she so desperately longed for. Her inner voice, once a confident guide, now questioned every new possibility, casting long shadows over any emerging hope. Yet, even amid this desolation, there was a small, stubborn ember of resilience. Deep down, Sage knew that within the ruins of shattered dreams, there lay the possibility of rebirth. The quiet skepticism that now defined her was not a sign of defeat, but rather a cautious armor, one forged by pain, yet capable of protecting her as she slowly began to search for a love that was genuine and enduring. Still, the question haunted her. Will she ever find that true sense of belonging again? In the quiet stillness of early morning, the forest unfolds like a living, breathing sanctuary. Towering trees, ancient and wise, form a protective canopy that filters the soft light of dawn into shimmering beams of gold and green. Every leaf seems to sparkle with dew, each droplet catching the light as if it were a tiny prism refracting hope. The gentle murmur of a distant stream accompanies the rustle of the breeze, creating a soothing symphony that calms the mind and eases the heart. In this pristine setting, the air feels pure and invigorating, each breath a reminder of life's inherent beauty and resilience. For Sage, this forest is much more than a collection of trees and streams. It is a place of refuge. Here, nature acts as a silent guardian, offering solace from the relentless echoes of her painful past. The forest's vast embrace provides a tangible contrast to the cold isolation that has shadowed her life. Its timeless rhythm, the perpetual cycle of growth and decay, mirrors the inner workings of her wounded heart, offering the possibility of renewal and healing. In moments of despair, she finds that the rustle of the leaves and the gentle caress of the wind are like the soft, reassuring voices of old friends, reminding her that, even in darkness, there is the promise of light. As she wanders beneath the protective boughs, the forest seems to speak directly to her soul, inviting her to lay down her burdens. Every rustling branch and whisper of wind tells a story of survival, resilience, and quiet strength. It is here, in the delicate interplay between light and shadow, that Sage begins to feel the stirrings of hope. A feeling that maybe, just maybe, she can find refuge not only from her past, but also within herself. The forest, in its silent majesty, becomes a healing balm for her wounded spirit, a constant reminder that nature endures and heals, no matter how deep the scars may run. Just as Sage begins to lose herself in the gentle cadence of the forest's healing whispers, an unexpected disturbance shatters the tranquility. Out of the dappled light and shifting shadows emerges a mysterious stranger. His presence is both unsettling and strangely magnetic, a figure who seems to belong to the forest, just as much as the ancient trees themselves. Dressed in garments that blend seamlessly with the hues of nature, he moves with an effortless grace, his eyes reflecting a hidden intensity and secret knowledge that sparks an immediate, inexplicable intrigue within her. As he approaches, his voice carries a tone of challenge rather than threat, a quiet provocation that seems to stir long-dormant parts of her soul. "You wander these woods as if searching for something you've lost," he says softly, his words hanging in the air like a riddle. There is a hint of amusement in his tone, yet beneath it lies a deeper, more profound meaning. His message is ambiguous and laden with the weight of fate. Is he merely an observer of her solitary journey? Or is he a herald, sent to stir the embers of change within her heart? Sage's mind races with conflicting emotions. Part of her is alarmed by this unexpected intrusion, unsure whether to retreat back into the safety of solitude or to step forward into the unknown. His enigmatic remarks resonate with the echoes of her inner doubts, stirring memories of lost love and missed chances. The stranger's words serve as a mirror, reflecting her own unspoken questions about the nature of belonging and the possibility of a life rekindled with meaning. His presence forces her to confront the uncomfortable truth that perhaps the destiny she has been running from is now standing before her. Despite the initial unease, there is a spark of curiosity that begins to kindle within her. The stranger's ambiguous challenge opens a doorway to possibilities she had long shut, possibilities of change, of reawakening a part of herself that she believed was forever dormant. His parting glance, filled with both mystery and promise, lingers in her thoughts as he fades back into the forest's depths, leaving her with a profound sense of anticipation and an inner call to re-examine her journey. Barely had the mysterious stranger's words begun to fade when another presence emerged, this one undeniably powerful and captivating. It was Noah. In that fateful moment, as if orchestrated by destiny itself, Sage felt an overwhelming pull, a magnetic force that resonated deep within her. Noah appeared at the edge of a sunlit clearing, his figure both commanding and gentle. There was an undeniable aura of calm authority about him, tempered by a warmth that immediately drew her in. Noah's presence seemed to brighten the very air around him. His eyes, a piercing blend of determination and tenderness, locked with hers for a fleeting yet eternal instant. In that instant, Sage experienced a profound sensation, a stirring in her heart that was both exhilarating and terrifying. It was as if every hardship, every fragment of pain from her past, had led her to this moment. Noah's gaze, steady and unyielding, seemed to promise understanding, protection, and something far more transformative, a chance to be truly seen. The sudden rush of emotions was overwhelming. Her heart pounded in a rhythm that felt ancient and vital, echoing with a renewed hope that had long been dormant. Noah's presence was a balm to her weary spirit, a living testament to the possibility of love and belonging. His soft smile and the subtle curve of his lips spoke volumes, conveying not just the promise of a shared future, but also a deep, unspoken connection that transcended words. For the first time in years, Sage felt a glimmer of the vibrant passion that she had almost forgotten, a passion that promised to mend the fractured pieces of her heart. As Noah stepped closer, the intensity of the moment deepened. Every detail, the way the morning light played across his features, the quiet confidence in his stride, and the unspoken compassion in his eyes, captivated her. In that singular moment, it was as if time itself paused, holding its breath to witness the birth of something extraordinary. Noah was not just a fleeting figure in the landscape of her sorrow. He was a beacon of hope, a sign that perhaps destiny had a plan for her, a plan that included the promise of true, transformative love. In the wake of these profound encounters, Sage stands at a precipice. The forest, with its eternal cycle of light and shadow, has not only sheltered her, but has also whispered promises of renewal. The enigmatic stranger's challenge and the magnetic allure of Noah have stirred within her a deep, unwavering desire for change. Now, as the soft glow of the morning grows into the brilliance of day, she reaches a quiet, yet resolute decision. With her heart still tender from the echoes of loss and the scars of rejection, she chooses to embrace the uncertainty of what lies ahead. No longer will she hide behind the walls of her past. Instead, she will step into the light of a new beginning. The pull of fate, embodied in Noah's steadfast gaze, beckons her to embark on a journey of self-discovery, a journey that promises not only the possibility of healing, but also the chance to find a love that is as true as it is profound. In this decisive moment, Sage resolves to follow the calling of her heart, to trust in the silent guidance of the forest and the magnetic force of destiny. She understands that this path will be fraught with challenges, and that the future remains uncertain. Yet, with each step, she embraces the possibility of transformation, daring to hope that she will ultimately find the belonging she has longed for. This commitment to herself, to her own healing, and the pursuit of genuine love marks the beginning of a courageous new chapter, one in which she is ready to face whatever destiny may bring, no matter how turbulent the journey may be. The nights had grown long and reflective, each one stretching into a canvas upon which Sage painted the fragments of her soul. In the quiet solitude of her room, beneath a sky freckled with distant stars, she sat at her desk with her well-worn journal spread open before her. The soft glow of a bedside lamp illuminated her thoughtful face as she began to write, each word a step toward understanding the tangled maze of her emotions. Her pen danced hesitantly across the paper, sometimes trembling as it traced the contours of memories too painful to revisit. She wrote of her parents, their laughter, their warm embraces, and the sudden void that followed their loss. Their absence had left her with a lingering ache, a question that echoed through her nights. Why was love so fleeting, and why did its promise vanish without warning? Yet, even as the past threatened to smother her in sorrow, a spark of longing for the future began to flicker within her. In the silence of those introspective hours, Sage allowed herself to dream of a life where love was not only experienced but cherished, a future where the wounds of the past would slowly heal under the gentle care of time and hope. Every scribbled line in her journal became a silent rebellion against the notion of permanent loneliness. She acknowledged the pain, letting it wash over her like a bitter tide. But she also clung to the hope that, one day, these scars would transform into a map of her survival and growth. Each night became a battleground where the ghosts of yesterday collided with the promise of tomorrow. The delicate act of writing, of releasing her innermost fears and desires onto paper, was both a catharsis and a challenge. In those moments, Sage learned to confront the duality of her existence, the heartache of what she had lost, and the tentative yearning for what she might one day find. Her journal was more than a record of grief. It was a manifesto for a future where she would no longer be defined solely by her losses, but also by the strength she forged from them. As days turned into weeks, the fragments of Sage's past began to merge with the vivid tapestry of her present. In the quiet corners of her mind, memories resurfaced, both the gentle recollections of love and the bitter remnants of betrayal. Slowly, these pieces of her history, once scattered and disjointed, started to come together like shards of a broken mirror, reflecting a picture of the woman she was becoming. Wandering through the forest became a ritual of remembrance and rebirth. Each step on the soft, leaf-strewn path felt like a dialogue between what had been and what could be. The rustle of the wind through the branches whispered secrets of days gone by, while the vibrant chirps of birds heralded the promise of new beginnings. It was in this serene dance of past and present that Sage found herself forging a new identity, one that embraced her losses while daring to hope for love again. In quiet moments at dawn, she recalled the bittersweet echoes of her childhood, the warmth of family now a distant memory, and the searing pain of love lost. Yet, as the sun rose over the horizon, its golden light seemed to wash over those memories, softening their edges and blending them with the promise of a future uncharted. Slowly, the narrative of her life transformed from one of abandonment to one of resilience. She began to see that every tear shed and every heartache endured had prepared her for this very moment. A moment when the past no longer held her captive, but instead contributed to the strength and wisdom that defined her. This transformation was not instantaneous, It came through quiet revelations during long walks beneath the stars and heartfelt confessions written in the sanctuary of her journal. With every memory revisited, Sage reclaimed a piece of herself that she once thought was lost forever. The interplay of sorrow and hope began to shape her into a woman who understood that the richness of life came not only from joy, but also from the courage to face pain head-on. In embracing both her past and present, she was slowly crafting a future where she could stand tall, a future where her heart, though scarred, could beat boldly with newfound passion. In the midst of her internal metamorphosis, moments with Noah emerged like gentle yet powerful interludes, each encounter laden with slow-burning romance and quiet intensity. Their time together was never rushed. It unfolded gradually, like the slow unfurling of a flower at dawn. On a serene afternoon, as the forest bathed in a warm, amber glow, Noah and Sage found themselves walking side by side along a meandering trail. Their conversation was sparse, filled more with shared glances and comfortable silences than with endless words, but in those moments a profound connection blossomed. Noah's steady presence was a balm to her turbulent heart. He listened, not just with his ears, but with a depth that made her feel understood. As they paused by a gentle stream, the water reflecting the soft light of the setting sun, he reached out and gently brushed a stray lock of hair from her face. That touch, tender yet assured, sent a ripple of warmth through her entire being. In that moment, the world around them seemed to fade away, leaving only the quiet pulse of their shared heartbeat and the unspoken promise of safety and care. There were other instances, small, seemingly inconsequential gestures that, in their simplicity, carried an enormous weight of emotion. A soft smile exchanged in the middle of a bustling market, a lingering look as they passed each other in the dim light of dusk, even the way Noah's eyes sparkled with quiet determination during moments of challenge. Each of these episodes was a slow burn, gradually igniting a fire of hope within Sage, a hope that perhaps love was not a fleeting, elusive mirage, but a tangible force that could rebuild her shattered spirit. Yet, these sweet moments were interlaced with the understated thrill of subtle action. There were brief interludes when Noah's protective instincts surfaced, a firm grip on her shoulder during a tense conversation, a swift, decisive gesture that shielded her from an unexpected threat. On the crowded streets, these flashes of action, though brief, underscored the reality that their connection was not merely a gentle romance, but one forged in the crucible of shared challenges. Together, these moments, both tender and dramatic, wove an intricate tapestry of love that promised to redefine the boundaries of what Sage believed possible. In Noah, she began to see not just a protector, but a partner capable of both passion and profound compassion. A beacon, guiding her toward the future she once feared, was lost. Gradually, as the days passed, Sage's inner landscape began to shift. The relentless solitude that had once defined her existence slowly gave way to a burgeoning sense of protection and belonging. Each tender moment with Noah, each word of encouragement, chipped away at the walls she had built around her heart. The overwhelming loneliness that had once consumed her began to dissipate, replaced by the reassuring feeling that someone truly caring, was by her side. Noah's unwavering support transformed her perception of herself. In his presence, the weight of her past no longer felt like an insurmountable burden, but rather a testament to her resilience. She started to believe that she was worthy of being loved, that her scars were not a mark of weakness, but a symbol of survival and strength. The defensive shell that had long encased her heart became more porous, allowing her to embrace the tender vulnerability of genuine connection. This inner transformation was marked by quiet epiphanies, the realization that true strength lies in accepting one's past, while daring to open up to the possibility of love and protection. Sage learned to trust not only Noah, but also herself. The fear that once gripped her began to ebb, replaced by a newfound resolve to face the future with courage. In every shared glance, every gentle touch, she began to feel the promise of a life where she was not alone, but shielded by the care and loyalty of someone who truly understood her soul. In that gradual awakening, Sage resolved to no longer run from the pain, but to use it as the foundation upon which to build a life of trust, hope, and unwavering love, a life in which she would finally feel truly protected. Sage's mind is a battleground where every echo of the past collides with the present. In the quiet hours of the night, memories flood her thoughts like a relentless tide, leaving behind the bitter taste of loss and regret. Her heart, scarred by the abrupt departure of her parents and the heart-wrenching betrayal by Ben, is a repository of pain that refuses to fade. Every faded photograph, every half-remembered laughter from days long gone, is a ghost that haunts her. The once warm embrace of family and the sweet promises of love now exist only as distant, painful reminders of what was lost. In the solitude of her room, Sage finds herself revisiting those moments with an almost unbearable clarity. She sees her mother's gentle smile and her father's protective arms, images that once offered comfort, but now serve as a stark contrast to the emptiness she endures. The wounds in her heart, though hidden behind a brave facade, bleed silently with every beat. These memories are not mere shadows of the past. They are vivid, living entities that demand attention. They whisper to her in the stillness of midnight, dredging up emotions she has long tried to bury. The hurt of being abandoned by the one she thought could offer love is a constant ache, a dull throb that never quite subsides. The pain is almost palpable, like the sting of a thorn pressed against her skin. It seeps into every corner of her being, reminding her that the scars of loss are not so easily healed. Each recollection of those tender moments now twisted by betrayal becomes a battle cry in her internal war, urging her to either succumb to despair or fight for a future unmarred by the past. In these quiet, haunting moments, Sage feels the weight of her sorrow, as if it were a physical burden, one that threatens to crush the fragile hope budding within her. Yet amid this overwhelming grief, a spark of defiance begins to flicker, a silent vow that she will not allow these old wounds to dictate the course of her life. Within the depths of her mind, Sage often hears two distinct voices, a tender, vulnerable whisper that echoes her wounded heart, and a fierce, primal growl that belongs to her inner wolf. In moments of solitude, these voices engage in a quiet dialogue, a tug-of-war between surrender and defiance. The softer voice, laden with sorrow and doubt, murmurs, "You are not enough. Every time you open your heart, you only invite more pain. Why risk it all when you have nothing to lose?" It recalls every moment of rejection, every time love slipped through her fingers like grains of sand, and warns her that the past is a cage from which escape is impossible. This part of her craves the safety of isolation, a temporary shield against the relentless hurt that lingers in every memory. In stark contrast, the inner wolf, a symbol of her inherent strength and resilience, roars in defiance. "You are strong," it declares, its voice deep and commanding. "Every scar, every tear, has forged you into a warrior. Do not let the ghosts of the past chain you to a future of despair. You must rise and let your heart burn with the fire of determination." This primal part urges her to break free from the self-imposed prison of sorrow and to embrace the challenge of healing. It reminds her that within her lies an untamed spirit, one that has survived the harshest storms and still yearns for the light of true love. Their dialogue is both tender and brutal. In quiet moments, Sage finds herself caught between these voices, her frail self teetering on the brink of surrender, and the fierce inner wolf demanding that she fight back. The internal conversation becomes a mirror, reflecting all that she is: vulnerable yet unyielding, broken yet capable of being whole again. Each whispered doubt is met with a resolute rebuttal, a challenge to reclaim the strength that once defined her. Though the wounds of the past cut deep, The inner wolf's insistence serves as a clarion call to persevere. It tells her that the path to healing is not linear, and that every battle fought within her soul is a step toward a future where love and acceptance are no longer fleeting shadows, but a permanent, radiant light. As Sage navigates the labyrinth of her memories, there comes a moment when the shadows of the past threaten to engulf her entirely. It is as if a storm brews within her, a tempest of raw emotion that rages against the fragile barriers she has erected to protect herself. In these turbulent moments, the pain of loss, betrayal, and abandonment converges into a single, overwhelming force. The once gentle murmur of her memories transforms into a deafening roar, echoing like a furious tempest in her mind. The vivid recollections, her parents' loving faces, the bittersweet intimacy shared with Ben, and the cold sting of his rejection, clash violently with the present. The battle within is akin to a violent storm, with thunderous doubts shaking the foundations of her newfound hope. She feels as if she stands at the eye of a hurricane, where the past whirls around her, threatening to pull her back into an abyss of despair. Every moment becomes a struggle to maintain control, as the memories surge like crashing waves against the shores of her consciousness. In this climactic turmoil, the imagery is stark and potent. It is as if her heart, already fragile from years of sorrow, is caught in a maelstrom, a swirling vortex where each memory is a gust of wind threatening to tear her apart. The pain is visceral, a searing burn that seems to ignite the very core of her being. Yet amidst this chaos, there is also a moment of clarity, a flash of insight that pierces through the storm. In the center of this emotional tempest, Sage realizes that the past, though ever present, does not have to dictate her future. This realization is as transformative as it is painful, for it demands that she confront every wound head-on. The storm is both external and internal, with the tumultuous sounds of nature mirroring the chaos within her. Rain pelts against the eye, window like a barrage of memories, each drop a reminder of the tears once shed. Thunder rumbles in the distance, echoing the anger and sorrow that have built up over years of heartache. This moment, charged with both fury and grief, marks the peak of her internal conflict, a point where the past's heavy hand almost smothers the hope that has begun to kindle within her. In the wake of the storm of memories and the overwhelming clash of her inner voices, Sage reaches a turning point. As the echoes of the past slowly subside into a soft, distant murmur, she finds herself standing at the crossroads of despair and hope. With the tumult still reverberating within her, she makes a solemn vow, a promise etched deeply into the core of her being. I will not allow these scars to define my future, she whispers into the quiet of the night. In that tender moment, as the first light of dawn begins to touch the horizon, Sage resolves that she will reclaim her life. The wounds of loss and betrayal, though they remain, will no longer be chains that hold her back. Instead, they will serve as reminders of her resilience, proof that she has survived the darkest of storms. Her promise is both fierce and gentle, a commitment to herself to seek out the beauty in life despite the pain, to open her heart again, without fear of falling prey to the ghosts of yesterday. She knows the journey ahead is fraught with uncertainty, yet she embraces it with a quiet determination. With each step forward, she vows to build a future where love, trust, and genuine connection reign, replacing the sorrow and isolation of her past. In this resolute pledge, Sage finds the courage to face tomorrow. The promise is not just a rejection of the pain that once ruled her, but an affirmation that her future will be defined by strength, growth, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of love, a love that is real, enduring, and transformative. This inner vow becomes her guiding light, the beacon that will lead her out of the darkness and into the promise of a new beginning. The forest that once whispered secrets of healing and refuge now trembles under a shadow of dread. In the dim light before dawn, an ominous chill has replaced the usual warmth of nature. The atmosphere is thick with tension, as if every rustle in the underbrush and every creak of ancient branches signals the approach of danger. This is no longer a sanctuary. It has transformed into a battleground where the very air seems charged with anticipation and menace. For days, reports have trickled in from scouts, sightings of rogue shifters gathering along the borders, their movements calculated and their eyes glinting with a predatory hunger. These outcasts, exiled from their own packs and united by a shared thirst for chaos, have become a looming threat. Their presence is felt in the uneasy glances exchanged by the pack members and in the hurried steps of those on patrol. Every shadow hides a potential enemy. Every whisper of wind could be a warning. As the pack braces for what may come, the natural beauty of the forest is juxtaposed against the harsh reality of conflict. The trees, once stalwart guardians of ancient wisdom, now stand as silent witnesses to the unfolding crisis. The usual chorus of birdsong is subdued, replaced by a low, steady hum of alertness. The ground, carpeted with fallen leaves and twigs, is a battlefield waiting to be marked by the clash of fangs and claws. In this charged environment, every member of the pack prepares for war, their hearts synchronized with the pulse of the impending storm. The tension is palpable, a mixture of fear, determination, and raw adrenaline that electrifies the air. The pack's leaders strategize in hushed urgency, aware that the rogue shifters are not merely scavengers, but a coordinated force, one that threatens the very stability of their world. With every passing minute, the threat grows more imminent, and the forest itself seems to hold its breath in expectation of the chaos to come. As the first light of dawn begins to break, the quiet of the forest is shattered by the roar of impending battle. At the forefront stands Noah, a beacon of strength and leadership, his presence commanding and resolute. The rogue shifters, emboldened by their unity and driven by a dark purpose, emerge from the shadows like a tidal wave of aggression. Their eyes burn with a ferocity that mirrors the flames of chaos about to engulf the forest. Noah's stance is unyielding as he faces the oncoming horde. His eyes, piercing and unwavering, lock onto the enemy with a calm intensity that belies the storm of adrenaline surging through his veins. In that moment, every muscle in his body seems to pulse with power. His voice, low and resonant, echoes through the clearing as he issues commands that cut through the clamor of the approaching threat. The battle erupts in a cacophony of sounds, a clash of claws, the snapping of branches, and the guttural growls of combat. Noah moves like a force of nature himself. With the swift precision of a predator, he lunges at the nearest rogue shifter, his movements a blend of fluid grace and raw, unbridled power. His fists and claws are instruments of both justice and retribution, striking with a ferocity that sends shockwaves through the enemy ranks. The rogue shifters, caught off guard by the intensity of his assault, falter momentarily. In that brief lapse, Noah seizes the opportunity to deliver a devastating blow, tossing one adversary aside with a sickening crack as if it were a mere twig. The impact of his strikes is almost cinematic, a blur of motion, force, and undeniable authority. Every encounter is charged with the energy of survival, every movement a testament to the countless battles he has fought to protect his pack. Amid the chaos, the interplay of light and shadow creates a dramatic tableau. The rising sun casts long, dramatic beams through the trees, illuminating the fierce determination etched on Noah's face and highlighting the swift, almost poetic violence of the encounter. His every gesture seems choreographed by fate, each movement both purposeful and instinctual. The rogue shifters, despite their numbers, struggle to match the relentless barrage of his attack. Their coordinated efforts crumble under the weight of his focused strength, and one by one, they are driven back into the dark recesses of the forest. As the battle rages, Noah's figure stands as a symbol of unwavering defiance. His eyes, filled with both the fury of a warrior and the tenderness of a protector, tell a story of sacrifice and relentless duty. In the heart of this storm of violence, he remains the calm at the center, a man whose resolve is unbreakable, whose spirit is tempered in the fires of adversity. The enemy's roars and the clashing of combat become a backdrop to a profound moment of confrontation, where every strike carries the weight of a lifetime dedicated to defending what is dear. While Noah's battle against the rogue shifters captivates the clearing, Sage finds herself drawn into the fray. The tumult of combat awakens something primal within her, a fierce inner wolf that has long slumbered beneath layers of pain and doubt. With each passing moment, the whispers of her inner strength grow louder, urging her to join the struggle and defend the pack she now calls home. Her heart pounds in her chest as she shifts into action. Every movement is guided not only by her training, but by an instinctive, wild energy that surges through her veins. The memory of past losses fuels her resolve. Each scar on her soul becomes a badge of honor, a testament to her survival. As she lunges forward, her eyes blaze with determination. She dodges a savage swipe from an enemy and counters with a swift, precise strike that echoes the ferocity of her inner wolf. In the midst of chaos, her mind becomes a clear battlefield of resolve and instinct. The fear of vulnerability is replaced by an unwavering focus, a commitment to protect the ones she loves. The adrenaline and raw power of the moment allow her to momentarily transcend her doubts. Every roar of her inner wolf harmonizes with the fierce symphony of battle, marking her transformation from a wounded soul into a formidable warrior. Though the intensity of the conflict leaves little room for hesitation, Sage feels an unspoken connection with Noah as they fight side by side. Their synchronized movements speak of a bond forged in the heat of battle, a promise that they will stand together, come what may. In this decisive moment, she embraces the truth of her strength and the power of her inner wolf, ready to carve out her destiny amid the chaos. As the skirmish begins to dwindle, and the rogue shifters retreat into the shadowy depths of the forest, a heavy silence falls over the clearing. The battle, fierce and unyielding, has left its mark on everyone present. Noah, still standing tall and resolute, surveys the field with eyes that have witnessed both triumph and loss. Sage, catching her breath amid the scattered remnants of the conflict, feels the reverberations of the fight deep within her, a mixture of raw adrenaline, pain, and a flickering hope that refuses to be extinguished. Yet, even as the immediate threat dissipates, the future remains cloaked in uncertainty. The echoes of the battle linger like an unfinished symphony, a promise of challenges yet to come. The forest, still shrouded in the aftermath of the confrontation, seems to murmur, warnings with every rustle of the leaves. The rogue shifters, though driven back for now, are not vanquished. Their coordinated threat continues to loom on the horizon like an ever-present storm waiting to break. In this charged pause, as the wounded and the weary gather their strength, Sage finds herself at the threshold of a new, daunting journey. The scars of the battle, both physical and emotional, remind her that the war is far from over. The path ahead is shrouded in mystery, uncertain and perilous, but it is also imbued with the potential for rebirth and transformation. Noah's steady gaze meets hers, a silent pledge that they will confront the looming darkness together. His expression is both a reassurance and a challenge, to stand firm in the face of adversity and to fight for the hope that burns within them both. As the clearing slowly fills with the quiet murmur of recovery, a deep understanding settles over them. A mutual resolve that, despite the lingering shadows, their bond and their purpose will guide them through the darkness. And so, with hearts still heavy yet determined, they step forward into an uncertain future. In the quiet moments after the fierce battle, the forest seems to exhale a long-held breath. The once tumultuous clearing now bears the scars of conflict, scattered debris, singed leaves, and a heavy silence that speaks of both loss and transformation. The adrenaline of combat has ebbed, replaced by a profound stillness as the pack gathers around the remnants of the fray. There is a poignant mix of mourning for those lost and a tentative hope for rebirth. The air is cool, tinged with the lingering scent of smoke and earth, as if nature itself is beginning to heal the wounds inflicted upon it. Sage walks slowly among the fallen, each step deliberate and reflective. Her eyes trace the path of destruction, a stark reminder of the chaos that once reigned here. Yet amid the wreckage, subtle signs of renewal emerge. New green shoots push through the charred ground, and beams of sunlight break through the dense canopy, casting hopeful patterns on the forest floor. These images, both delicate and defiant, speak of nature's eternal capacity for regeneration. In this quiet aftermath, the atmosphere is one of solemn resilience. The battle has taken its toll, but it has also set the stage for a new beginning. The pack members, though weary and wounded, share a mutual understanding of the cost of conflict. Their voices are soft and subdued as they exchange words of consolation and honor the memory of those who fought valiantly. Even the pain of loss seems to forge a deeper bond among them, a silent promise that together they will mend the broken pieces. In the midst of sorrow, the seeds of hope are planted, nurtured by the belief that every ending carries with it the potential for a fresh start. The forest, scarred yet vibrant, becomes a metaphor for their collective spirit. Each member, wounded but unyielding, poised to rebuild and rise anew from the ashes of defeat. As the pack begins to tend to their wounds and fortify their defenses, the promise of renewal glimmers in every cautious smile and determined gaze. Though the memory of the battle lingers, it is slowly being replaced by a shared vision of a future defined not by despair, but by the power of rebirth and unity. In the days following the battle, as the pack works to recover and rebuild, Sage finds solace in the quiet, steadfast presence of Noah. Amid the recovery efforts, there are tender moments when time seems to slow, allowing both healing and connection to flourish. One such moment unfolds on a crisp afternoon, when Noah, still bearing traces of the day's conflict, sits quietly beside Sage under a large ancient oak. The weight of the recent struggle seems to dissolve in the simplicity of their shared silence. Noah's hand finds hers in a gentle, reassuring grip, a silent promise that he is there to shoulder her pain as much as he is to share in her hope. His eyes, soft yet filled with a determined warmth, meet hers and speak a language beyond words, a language of shared grief, steadfast loyalty, and the tender beginnings of trust reborn. The subtle brush of his fingertips against her skin sparks a comforting warmth that permeates the lingering chill of loss. In these moments, Sage allows herself to lean on him, to feel that she is not alone in the aftermath of chaos. There are evenings, too, when the pack's recovery is momentarily set aside and Noah and Sage find themselves alone in a quiet corner of the pack house. The soft glow of lanterns and the distant murmur of subdued conversations create a cocoon of intimacy. As they talk in hushed tones, their dialogue is interspersed with long, meaningful silences. Noah's voice, low and empathetic, recounts memories of past battles and the deep sense of responsibility he feels for every member of the pack. In return, Sage opens up about her own inner struggles, the lingering shadows of rejection, and the slow, painful process of learning to trust again. During one such conversation, as the night deepens and the world outside seems to vanish, Noah confesses that every time he sees her, he is reminded of the strength it takes to endure and rise from despair. His words, sincere and unguarded, spark a quiet smile on Sage's lips. In that moment, they share a mutual understanding that their individual scars and vulnerabilities only serve to make their bond more profound. Their connection, forged in the crucible of recent trials, blossoms into a tender reassurance that together they can face whatever comes next. Each gentle touch and every shared glance further cements the growing intimacy between them, a promise that amid the uncertainty, their renewed bond will be a guiding light. In the soft twilight that follows the storm of battle, Sage finds refuge in long, introspective conversations that stir the depths of her soul. Often seated by a small window overlooking the recovering forest, She spends hours engaged in quiet dialogue, sometimes with Noah, sometimes with a trusted friend, and sometimes simply with her own echoing thoughts. These conversations become a sanctuary, a place where the rawness of her pain can transform into wisdom and healing. One evening, as rain gently taps against the window pane, Sage reflects aloud on the nature of loss and love. "Do you ever wonder," she confesses in a hushed tone, "if the heart can truly mend after all it has endured?" Her voice trembles with both vulnerability and resolve. In response, Noah's steady words cut through the quiet. Healing isn't about forgetting the pain. It's about learning to honor it, while allowing hope to flourish. His gentle assurance acts as a balm to her aching spirit, inviting her to see her scars not as marks of weakness, but as badges of survival and strength. These deep conversations become more than mere exchanges. They are a series of heartfelt promises made to oneself. Sage learns that healing is not linear. It is a spiral journey, with moments of triumph intertwined with setbacks. As she speaks about the bitter memories of betrayal and the enduring emptiness that once threatened to consume her, she is met with empathetic nods and supportive murmurs from those who have traveled similar paths. The dialogue is raw, filled, with pauses heavy with meaning, as if each word carries the weight of an unspoken truth. In one particularly moving exchange, a close friend reminds her, "Your past may shape you, but it doesn't define you. You have the power to choose your future." This affirmation, repeated like a gentle mantra, slowly penetrates the fortress of her guarded heart. Sage begins to understand that every conversation, every shared tear and quiet laugh, is a step toward reclaiming her inner light. The support of her loved ones, especially Noah's unwavering belief in her, transforms these moments into anchors of hope. Through these dialogues, she rebuilds not just her spirit, but also her vision of a future where love and resilience are intertwined. A future where the voice of hope drowns out the lingering echoes of pain. As the echoes of the battle fade into memory and the healing process unfolds, Sage finds a quiet, resolute moment to speak her truth. A vow made not just in whispered promises, but in the firm beating of her determined heart. Under the soft glow of dawn, as the forest begins to stir with renewed life, she stands with Noah by her side, feeling the weight of her past slowly transforming into the strength that will shape her future. In that tender silence, with the early morning light caressing her face, Sage makes a promise to herself. "I will not allow the pain of yesterday to dictate the hope of tomorrow. I will fight for the love that promises to heal me, and for the trust that will one day set me free." Her voice, though quiet, resonates with unwavering resolve. This vow is more than a statement. It is a declaration of her readiness to embrace the vulnerability that comes with trusting another soul. It is a pledge to rise each day with the determination to rebuild what was broken, to mend the fractures of her heart with courage and compassion. Noah's steady hand on her shoulder and his warm, encouraging gaze further solidify this commitment. Together they share a silent understanding that the path to recovery is steep and fraught with uncertainties, yet every step taken in the name of love is a victory over despair. As Sage looks forward, she envisions a future where each challenge is met with resilience, where every scar is a testament to her survival, and where the promise of love is not just a fleeting dream, but a living, enduring reality. In that powerful moment, surrounded by the gentle hum of a healing forest and the quiet assurance of a steadfast partner, Sage vows to never stop fighting, for herself, for her heart, and for the love that is destined to guide her home. The forest was hushed, as if nature itself held its breath when the moment arrived, a moment that would forever alter the course of Sage's life. In the heart of a clearing bathed in the soft glow of twilight, Noah stood before the pack, his silhouette etched in the fading light. Every eye in the gathering looked to him, but none were as fixed as Sage's. Her heart pounded in her chest as she watched him step forward, his presence exuding a calm, yet formidable power. Noah's voice, steady and resolute, cut through the stillness like a clarion call. "Sage," he began, each syllable imbued with raw emotion and the weight of every trial they had endured together. "In the midst of chaos, in the shadow of loss, and in the face of every storm that has battered our lives, I have found something unwavering, a truth that anchors my soul. You have stood beside me when hope seemed but a distant memory, and through every trial, you have revealed to me the strength of your spirit." His gaze, deep and earnest, locked with hers, as if drawing her into the very core of his being. For a moment, the world around them receded. The whispers of the trees and the quiet murmur of the wind fell away, leaving only the intensity of their connection. Noah's eyes glistened with unshed tears as he continued, "I vow to protect you, to cherish you, and to honor the love that has blossomed from the ashes of our past. No force in this world, nor the shadows of our memories, can break the bond that unites us. I pledge my life, my heart, and every part of my being to you, Sage. You are not just my mate, you are my hope, my future, and the light that guides me through the darkest nights." As he spoke, the air around them seemed to shimmer with the power of his words. Each vow was a promise not only of unwavering support and passion, but also of a deep commitment to the future they would build together. The intensity in his voice resonated with every member of the pack, but it was Sage who felt each word sear its truth into her heart. In that breathtaking instant, the pain of the past and the scars of previous losses began to fade before the brilliance of his promise. Noah's vow was more than words. It was a declaration that their shared destiny would be written not by the hand of fate, but by their own courageous hearts. The emotional climax of this moment was palpable, as if time itself had paused to bear witness. His vow carved a mark in the air, a radiant beacon that signified the rebirth of trust and love, promising that together they could withstand any adversity. The gathering, silent and reverent, seemed to affirm his pledge, and as his voice softened to a tender murmur, the clearing filled with a profound, unspoken understanding that a new chapter was beginning. Moved to tears by Noah's impassioned promise, Sage felt her soul stir with a blend of sorrow and fierce determination. In that fragile moment, the weight of her past, the scars of loss, the bitter taste of rejection, began to dissolve in the light of a love that was emerging stronger than before. With trembling hands and a voice both soft and resolute, she stepped forward, her eyes never leaving Noah's. "Noah," she began, her tone laden with the memories of all she had endured. "For so long, I have wandered through the darkness, haunted by the ghosts of yesterday, and burdened by the weight of my own pain. I have questioned whether I am worthy of love, whether I can ever find a place where I truly belong." Her voice wavered as a single tear traced a path down her cheek, mingling with the remnants of past sorrow. "But standing here with you, I see a future that transcends the anguish of my history, a future built on trust, compassion, and an unyielding belief in the promise of renewal." Sage's eyes shone with unshed tears as she continued, "I vow to honor every lesson learned from my heartache, to let each scar remind me of the strength I possess. I pledge to embrace this love with all its beauty and pain, for it is in our shared vulnerability that we find our true power." Her words, like a quiet prayer, resonated deeply with everyone who listened. The declaration was not just an admission of love, but an acknowledgement of her own growth, a commitment to rise above the betrayals and losses that had once defined her. "I promise," she declared, "to trust in our bond, to cherish every moment of joy, and to face every challenge with courage. I will no longer let the past dictate my future. Instead, I will use it to forge a path toward healing and hope." In that charged moment, The air around them seemed to vibrate with the intensity of her conviction. Her vow was a fusion of tears, unwavering trust, and the resolute determination of a woman who had finally learned that love could be both a refuge and a catalyst for transformation. It was a promise to herself and to Noah, a pledge to never allow the wounds of the past to dim the light of their shared future. As Sage and Noah's vows hung in the air, the natural world around them responded in kind, offering a series of symbolic images that deepened the meaning of their promises. Above them, the sky shifted in a breathtaking dance of colors, a palette of purples and oranges that heralded the coming of night and the promise of dawn. It was as if the heavens themselves were painting a portrait of renewal, each hue a testament to the love that had been reborn in that sacred clearing. A nearby stream, its waters crystal clear and unyielding, flowed steadily as a silent witness to the unfolding vows. Its gentle murmur symbolized the continuous passage of time, a reminder that, no matter how tumultuous the present, life endures and moves forward. The stream's persistence mirrored the couple's own resolve, to let the current of hope carry them beyond the shadows of the past. At their feet, delicate wildflowers, resilient and vibrant, pushed through the soil that had been scorched by the flames of previous battles. These humble blossoms, defiant in the face of adversity, embodied the very essence of rebirth, a visual metaphor for the promises they had made. Each petal, softly illuminated by the fading light, was a symbol of fragile beauty emerging from the ruins, a promise of new beginnings and the enduring strength of the human spirit. In this moment of symbolic communion, the natural elements coalesced to reinforce the sacred vows, each image a quiet yet powerful affirmation that love, once kindled, has the power to transform and renew even the most scarred of souls. As the final echoes of their vows faded into the twilight, the promise of a shared future began to crystallize, a future filled with challenges, uncertainties, and immeasurable hope. In that sacred clearing, with the forest as their silent witness, Noah and Sage stood united, their hearts entwined and their spirits lifted by the strength of their shared commitment. They knew that the road ahead would not be easy. Dark clouds of doubt and the shadows of past betrayals might return to test their resolve. Yet, in the quiet determination of their eyes, there was an unspoken assurance. Together, they would face every storm, no matter how fierce. Their vows were not the end of a journey, but the beginning of a lifelong quest to nurture a love that is as resilient as the wildflowers that had bravely sprung from the scorched earth. Noah gently squeezed Sage's hand, a gesture of comfort and solidarity that spoke volumes about their unyielding bond. "Whatever challenges we encounter," he whispered, "we will meet them side by side. I promise to stand with you, to protect you, and to help you heal every day, even when the world around us seems to crumble." In that tender moment, the future shimmered with possibilities. The light of dawn broke through the lingering darkness, casting a golden glow over the clearing, a visual promise that even after the darkest night, a new day will come. With hearts full of resolve and eyes set on the horizon, Noah and Sage stepped forward, ready to build a future defined not by fear or pain, but by the enduring power of love and mutual trust. In the quiet hours following the tumultuous events, the pack gathers in a spacious, dimly lit common room of the pack house. The air is heavy with the lingering tension of recent strife, but there is also a palpable sense of urgency to heal the wounds that have divided them. Noah, Sage, and other key members of the pack, including Joan, a wise and spirited mentor, and several trusted betas, convene for a council meeting. The murmurs of the group slowly give way to a serious dialogue as each voice strives to mend the fissures within their tight-knit community. Noah, standing at the forefront, addresses the group in a calm yet firm tone. "We have endured much," he begins, "and though the scars of our conflicts are still fresh, it is time to set aside our differences for the sake of our future. Our unity is what defines us, and we must speak honestly about the tensions that have threatened to tear us apart. His words resonate with the gathered pack members, their eyes reflecting a mix of pain and hope. Sage, her voice soft but determined, adds, "I know the past has left us with wounds that are not easily healed. But I believe that every harsh word, every moment of jealousy or doubt, is an opportunity for us to grow stronger together. Let us not allow the bitterness of our memories to dictate our destiny. We owe it to ourselves and to each other to embrace forgiveness and rebuild trust." Joan, ever the bridge between strength and vulnerability, nods in agreement. We have seen what happens when we let fear and resentment govern our actions. Today, I ask each of you to share what burdens you so that we can understand and help lighten each other's load. This is not about pointing fingers, but about listening and healing together. Her invitation creates a safe space for honest, albeit painful, admissions. One of the senior betas, voice trembling with both emotion and courage, confesses, "I have harbored doubts, feeling that I might not be enough for the pack. But seeing all of you come together now, I realize that our individual strengths are what create our collective power." Another member shares how the recent events made them question loyalty and belonging, only to find solace in the shared commitment of the pack. Slowly, the dialogue transforms the room. The harsh edges of past conflicts begin to smooth out as each member acknowledges their own vulnerabilities. Noah reiterates, "We are not defined by our mistakes or our doubts. We are defined by our willingness to come together, to support one another, and to build a future that honors both our past and our promise for tomorrow." His words serve as a turning point, uniting the pack in a shared resolve to confront the darkness together. By the end of the meeting, the atmosphere is less charged with conflict and more filled with the warm glow of reconciliation. The honest, heartfelt conversations have not erased the pain of the past, but they have laid the groundwork for a new beginning, a future where every voice is heard and every heart is mended through understanding and collective support. In the Chahain, days that follow the council meeting, subtle yet profound changes ripple through the pack. The once fractured relationships gradually transform as members begin to see beyond their personal grievances. What was once an atmosphere of tension and silent jealousy gives way to a spirit of acceptance and unity. During a quiet evening around a communal fire pit, several members of the pack find themselves sharing stories of personal trials and triumphs. One young wolf, who had long felt overshadowed by more dominant figures, opens up about her struggle for recognition. "I used to think that my value was measured only by my strength in battle," she admits, her voice soft yet sincere. "But tonight, listening to your stories and feeling this unity, I understand that every contribution matters. We all have a role to play, and together, we are unstoppable." Noah listens intently as another pack member recalls a moment of intense jealousy, a time when the fear of being replaced nearly tore their bond apart. "I realized that holding on to that anger was like clutching a burning coal," he reflects, his gaze sweeping across the gathered faces. "It only hurt me, and it prevented me from experiencing the warmth of true connection." His words strike a chord among the listeners, prompting nods of understanding and shared smiles. Sage, too, has her moments of clarity. In a quiet conversation with Joan as they watch the night sky, she confesses, "For the longest time, I let the pain of my past dictate how I see love. I was so afraid of being hurt again that I built walls around my heart. But I'm starting to see that these walls only keep me isolated from the support I so desperately need." Joan, with a gentle smile, reassures her, "Every scar is a lesson, Sage. When we let go of our fears, we open ourselves to the possibility of growth and the beauty of shared love. These intimate exchanges, laden with vulnerability and mutual empathy, foster a renewed sense of belonging. Slowly, the pack begins to see that their individual struggles and past jealousies are not weaknesses, but shared experiences that bind them together. The collective realization that their differences only strengthen their unity leads to a transformative shift in perspective. The once tense energy in the air gives way to a feeling of quiet acceptance and a deep, enduring commitment to each other, a realization that the true strength of the pack lies in its unity and the capacity for forgiveness. In the wake of healing and reconciliation, a new commitment begins to take shape, a vow among all members to protect not only their territory, but the love and unity that bind them. At a final gathering in the council chamber, Noah stands before the pack with a renewed sense of purpose. Our strength lies not only in our prowess on the battlefield, but in the bonds we nurture every day, he proclaims, his voice resonant with determination. Each face in the room reflects the shared resolve to safeguard their collective future. In that moment, a pact is formed. The pack agrees to set aside petty rivalries and focus on the greater good, the protection of each member, and the nurturing of a love that transcends individual pain. Noah and Sage, together with Joan and the other elders, pledge to face every challenge as one unified force. This shared commitment is more than a promise. It is a promise etched into the very fabric of their community, a foundation upon which they will build a future free from the shadows of past betrayals. The vow is echoed in small acts of solidarity, a wolf lending a helping hand in the training grounds, a gentle nod of reassurance during moments of uncertainty, and the collective murmur of determination that reverberates through the pack house. Each promise made reinforces the idea that together they can weather any storm. Their unity becomes a shield against external threats, and the love they share serves as the cornerstone of their strength. As they look toward the horizon, the pack understands that the road ahead may still be fraught with challenges. However, the collective promise to protect one another and to nurture the love that sustains them creates an unbreakable foundation for the future, a future built on shared resilience, loyalty, and an unwavering commitment to each other. As the day unfolds, the pack gathers in a final moment of unity, a vivid tableau of togetherness and determination. The sun casts its golden light over the assembled wolves, each face radiating a sense of renewed hope and unwavering resolve. The atmosphere is electric, yet calm, a delicate balance of anticipation and the quiet assurance that they are ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. In this powerful moment, the pack stands united, a tapestry of diverse individuals bound by a common purpose. The barriers of past conflicts have dissolved into the background, replaced by a deep, resonant sense of belonging. Noah, Sage, Joan, and every member of the pack share knowing glances and supportive gestures, each one a silent affirmation of their collective strength. The scene is reminiscent of an ancient ritual, where every howl, every gesture, is a testament to their unity and the enduring power of their bonds. The visual imagery is striking. A circle of wolves, their eyes gleaming with determination, their postures proud and resolute as they prepare to defend their home. The setting sun creates long, dramatic shadows that intertwine with the bright glow of hope, symbolizing the journey from darkness to light. In that moment, the pack's unity is not just an ideal, it is a living, breathing reality, a force that will propel them forward into the future. Together, they stand ready to confront the unknown, their hearts united by a promise to protect one another and the love that has redefined their destiny. The final image is one of resilience and solidarity. A pack bound together not by blood alone, but by a deep, abiding commitment to the future they will create as one. In the quiet after the storm, Sage reflects on the winding path that has led her from the depths of despair to a place of renewed hope and belonging. Her journey, marked by loss, heartbreak, and relentless struggle, now unfolds in her memory, like a sacred map, a testament to her resilience. Once, her days were shrouded in the cold solitude of abandonment. The bitter echoes of rejection and the ghostly remnants of her parents' love haunted her every step. Yet, with every painful chapter, she began to discover fragments of her strength. The lessons learned through each tear and every moment of doubt transformed her into someone unbreakable. Sage recalls the early days when darkness seemed absolute, when each sunrise was met with a heavy heart and every shadow a reminder of what was lost. It was in those moments of solitude that she first learned to listen to the quiet voice of her inner wolf, a fierce spirit urging her to reclaim the parts of herself that had been buried under sorrow. The painful memories of Ben's betrayal, once a source of unyielding anguish, gradually became the catalyst for her growth. They ignited within her a determination to seek a love that would heal rather than hurt. Looking back, every challenge she faced, every emotional scar, now serves as a badge of honor. They remind her that she has emerged from the crucible of her past, not as a broken soul, but as a warrior ready to embrace the light. Her path was not linear. It twisted through valleys of grief and soared over peaks of hope. Yet each step, no matter how painful, brought her closer to the truth, that true belonging is found not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to rise above it. Sage's heart, once locked in a prison of despair, now beats with the rhythm of resilience, echoing a newfound faith in love and life. Standing amid the quiet strength of her pack, Sage now speaks with a clarity and conviction that were once foreign to her. In a moment of introspection, she reflects on how the journey has reshaped her identity. From a girl overwhelmed by grief to a woman who commands her destiny. With every trial, she discovered that love is not a fragile, fleeting sentiment, but a powerful force capable of healing and transformation. No longer defined by past rejections, she has learned to stand tall, confident in the knowledge that she is deserving of the love that now surrounds her. Her inner monologue is a tapestry of raw emotions, a blend of gratitude, determination, and a steadfast belief in the future. I am more than the sum of my scars, she tells herself as she gazes into the horizon. The support of Noah and the unwavering loyalty of her pack have given her a renewed sense of purpose. Their voices, each a note in the harmonious symphony of unity, have taught her that every act of kindness, every shared smile, and every courageous step forward reaffirms her place within this family. The love she experiences here is different. It is not conditional or transient, but built on the foundations of trust and shared struggle. In the quiet moments that follow the council meetings and the fierce battles, Sage finds solace in simple acts, helping a younger wolf perfect their stance during training or sharing a laugh with Joan under the gentle glow of twilight. These seemingly small moments crystallize into a larger truth, that her role within the pack is not merely as a survivor of past wounds, but as an essential pillar of their collective strength. The weight of responsibility, once a burden, now feels like a cherished honor. With every heartbeat, she reaffirms her commitment to protect and nurture the bonds that have been painstakingly rebuilt, knowing that the love and loyalty of her newfound family is the beacon guiding her forward. For Sage, the concept of home transcends physical walls and familiar landscapes. It is embodied in the people who have embraced her, the pack that has become her sanctuary. As dawn breaks, its gentle light spills over the recovering forest, like a promise of new beginnings. The soft rays of morning illuminate the faces of her comrades and the enduring spirit in Noah's eyes. Each beam of sunlight, each rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze becomes a metaphor for hope reborn. In her mind, home is symbolized by the intertwining branches of ancient trees, their roots deep and unyielding, just as her bonds with the pack are both timeless and resolute. The imagery of the rising sun, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, mirrors the warmth that now fills her heart. It is not the physical space that defines home, but the shared laughter, the mutual understanding, and the silent promises exchanged between those who stand together through adversity. The steadfast rhythm of nature, its cycles of growth decay, and renewal, serves as a reminder that home is a living, breathing entity, evolving and enduring through every storm. As the pack gathers one final time under the vast, star-studded sky, a sense of profound hope permeates the air. The journey that began in a swirl of pain and isolation has blossomed into a triumphant narrative of resilience and unity. Sage stands alongside Noah and Joan, their silhouettes bathed in the gentle glow of the breaking dawn, a visual promise that no matter how dark the night, light will always return. In that quiet, sacred moment, Sage reflects on the incredible transformation that has taken place. Our past may have been written in sorrow, but our future is ours to create, she whispers, her voice steady and imbued with newfound confidence. This is not just a conclusion. It is a beginning, a fresh chapter marked by hope, determination, and the unwavering belief that together, they can overcome any obstacle. The challenges ahead may be daunting, and the scars of yesterday may still throb with old pain. But the bond they share is an unyielding force that will guide them through the trials to come. The imagery of the night is vivid, the lingering embers of a dying fire, the soft murmur of the wind as it caresses the leaves, and the gentle promise of a new sunrise, all blend to create a tapestry of hope and possibility. Every member of the pack, every shared smile and quiet nod, is a testament to their collective strength. They have learned that true unity is not about the absence of conflict, but about the courage to stand together in the face of adversity. As Sage gazes upward at the infinite canvas of stars, she feels a surge of inspiration, an invitation to step boldly into the future. "We will face every challenge together," Noah declares, his voice echoing the promise of a resilient tomorrow. And with that, the pack moves forward, united in their love, their loyalty, and their collective hope. Their journey continues, a story of endless possibilities, where every heart beats as one, and every day is a step toward a future defined by love, unity, and the unwavering strength of belonging.